So there are basically three variants. Number one is what we call as floating. Floating means it's fully market determined. The market determines the value of one currency against the other currency, depending upon the cash flows or the money flows that are happening, as we discussed in the previous episode. The second is what we call as a peg, which is basically a fixed linkage between one currency and the second currency. One example, Hong Kong dollar is a peg to US dollar.
Right.
So the exchange rate between Hong Kong dollar and US dollar is fixed at all points in time, no matter what happens to the underlying demand and supply. The third, which is basically an intermediate, is what we call as a float or a partial float. It is in some senses market determined floating, but there is a very strong influence of the central bank in the market, and the central bank decides how the currency's exchange rate moves over a period of time using various tools and techniques that they have. Most of the major developing economies such as India, China, even countries like Brazil, Mexico, they have some form of shape of partial floats, managed floats or partial floats. They are called managed floats because it's a float. There is a market in which the exchange rate is getting determined, but there is a very strong influence of the central bank or of the government in determining the value of the exchange rate.
Understood. And so again, just to kind of, just to put it in my words again, so at one extreme you have free for all, like anybody can come buy, sell the exchange, the Forex and move on. The central bank is a observer, but not necessarily a great like a significant participant.
That's right.
On the other extreme, you have a central bank which is saying, doesn't matter what happens, my exchange rate to the dollar is fixed.
Yeah.
And so if somebody comes and sells more dollars, then I will buy those. And if somebody is selling more of, let's say, the Hong Kong dollar, then I will sell Forex and buy kind of, bring stability to the market. So I will ensure that the rate remains fixed. And then there are kind of many people who are in between, which is, I guess, the managed float, wherein they are saying, look, let there be a market, but if the market does something which I don't like, then I will come in and intervene.